Maybe.
Hold up right here. I'll see if it is. Oh, there we are.
I mean, it's a bit much to check every single time, but the times we haven't checked, we haven't. we've had
why risk it?
We've had issues, so might as well.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. How was yours?
Pretty good as well. Nice relaxing weekend.
Yeah, just did a lot of chilling, which was nice.
It's a cold January weekend, a little rainy here, so
yeah,
enjoy the indoors a little bit.
Very, very rainy here as well. It feels like it's been raining nonstop for like a week, which is wonderful.
You enjoy the rain?
I enjoy rainstorms. I don't enjoy constant rain. You know what I mean?
You like the occasional rain.
I like those summer showers where it's hot and then you get a thunderstorm roll through, and maybe like half the day, the whole day, it's pouring with rain, but then it's not anymore. It's just been gray and raining the whole time here, which is much less enjoyable.
You don't like the you don't like not being able to go outside without feeling miserable.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's probably understandable.
But
it's January. That's,
yeah. It was like 55 degrees here the other day. I went outside and I'm like, this isn't right. Something's wrong.
It's that weird time of the year.
Yeah.
I just want it to be summer again. I always get tired of winter around this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. But during that day it got up to 55, when I went to try and sleep, I was just so hot because that was it went from cold to, lukewarm outside, and my body could not handle it. I'm a very fussy sleeper.
You should turn the heater on one side of the bed and the fan on the other. And then you just kind of turn over to the side that you need more.
I would just get too hot. Because like once it gets to summer, I usually don't use a sheet, no nothing. I just sleep on top of the bed.
Yeah, I know you're wearing your summer pajamas.
I get warm very easily in the summer.
You're hot-blooded.
But then I wake up and I'm cold. It's like when I'm trying to sleep. I put out more heat.
Well, don't they say that you're supposed to sleep in the cold?
Yeah, I think the ideal sleeping temperature is like 60 degrees or something like that.
Right, which is cold for being awake, so...
Yeah.
I guess blame the human body. If you gotta blame someone.
Yeah, there's quite a bit wrong with the human body. Like using a rope as a main structural support. Not ideal. Talking about the spine for reference.
I was going to say. No, it's much worse than a rope. Basically, Jello cubes held up by muscle.
Yeah, with a little bit of bone in between.
Just enough to break.
Just enough to really screw with you. Well, at your age, you got to start worrying about slip discs and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm not. I'll have you know, I'm only in my mid-60s.
Mid.
Barely retirement
67 age. Isn't mid, Cooper. That's
barely
late.
Retirement age. And I look dang good for it. Oh, you wanna jump into the album?
Yeah, sure. Let's get on into it. If I can find where my mouse is, damn. Well, hello. Oh, I screwed up. Okay, I'll still do the intro. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week we are discussing Hot Chocolate by Hot Chocolate. I ignore the screen as that changes as I talk. And you may notice a bit of change of scenery here. we decided that it's going to be the Year of the Sponge.
Year of the Sponge.
And we changed the background too. That's something that we started doing. It's a nice, kind of a soft lilac, no longer shit brown, as Cooper put it.
Yeah, kind of like a grimace purple.
No, that's the opening. That's more of a grimace purple. Although maybe it's more of a Twitch purple. I don't know.
Branding.
Yeah, I gotta represent the platform that brings us all the big bucks.
Give it back.
Yeah. But yeah, we listened to Hot Chocolate by Hot Chocolate this week. That's my fault. Cooper gets to pick the next album because this definitely was my pick.
Well, I almost listened to the wrong album. Or actually, I started listening to the wrong album because we talked about doing this album, and then I thought, what was the name of the album that Sam said? Oh, it was Chocolate Milk, right? And I looked it up, and I kid you not. So the album we're reviewing is a self-titled album by the band Hot Chocolate, which you spelled wrong in the in the Twitch, by the way.
Did I? Where did I
Joe
type it?
totally.
Oh, yeah, I did. I was trying to type and talk at the same time.
It's the second album by the funk band Hot Chocolate, self-titled second album. And I accidentally listened to Chocolate Milk, which is the self-titled second album of the funk band Chocolate Milk.
Oh no!
And I was like I was listening through, I'm like, wait a second, these songs aren't the ones I looked up earlier. And then I'm like, oh.
It's a good thing that you looked up the correct thing earlier. Otherwise, it would be a Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA escapade again.
Except this time we'd be talking about different albums.
Yeah, different artists. I don't blame you. The fact that Born in the USA and Born to Run are both by Bruce Springsteen.
Frankly, he brought it on himself.
He really did. So, but I can let's get into it. I can give some history of the band.
Go for it.
So they were formed in 1968, and the band initially had several founding members who I will not mention because there's a lot of them. They were originally called Hot Chocolate Band by Mavis Smith, who worked for Apple Corp's press office, which Apple Corp's was the Beatles publishing.
Yeah, not the Steve Jobs.
Yes, different. Legally distinct, as the current saying is. But then they shortened it, well, they changed it rather to the Hot Chocolate, and then shortened it to Hot Chocolate. And I mentioned they were associated with the Beatles. They got their start by recording a reggae version of John Lennon's "Give Peace a Chance," and we're told they needed permission. He was contacted by Apple Records, and then discovered that Lennon liked his version, and they were subsequently signed to Apple Records. But that was short-lived because the Beatles were breaking up at the time, and then they, that connection got ended. So, sadly, their quick trip to fame was destroyed because the Beatles decided to break up. But they became a big success in the disco era of the 70s. Combination of high production standards and the strong songwriting team with a lot of nice harmonies made them such big hits as "You Sexy Thing," which is on this album, and "Everyone's a Winner" from, I think the album is called "Everyone's a Winner." I just listened to it, but I don't remember. Which were number 3 and number 6 in the U.S. respectively, because this is a United Kingdom band.
Yep,
they are
UK.
British, which that's why they got tied in with the Beatles. They became the only group, one of just 3 acts, that had a hit in every year of the 1970s in the UK charts. The other 2 being Elvis Presley and Diana Ross. So that's a pretty big achievement.
I just say I feel like that might be a distant third.
Yeah, yes, probably quite a bit.
Of
but
overall, fame over the years.
Especially staying power, yes.
Still impressive though.
But the band eventually had at least 1 hit every year between 1970 and 1984.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
But they only had 9 studio albums, And over their full run, the only founding member that was there till the end was Patrick Olive of the 8. To be fair, a couple of the founding members got swapped out for members that did stay through right at the start, which often happens with bands. But yeah, that was them. They obviously are not still touring.
Right. Well, I guess they could be, technically. There's still some bands from the 60s and 70s that tour.
True, but they are not. The original frontman, Errol Brown, actually just passed away in 2015 from cancer. So he was not the frontman forever, though. But we can get on to the first track if you're ready, Coop.
Yes. We'll go to track number 1, Hello, America. Which I guess was them introducing, I guess since they're a UK band, right? Introducing themselves to America.
That's a good, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. It starts quite strong out of the gate. We've got the singing portion isn't the best, I will say. But man, is that instrumental line fantastic. The one-note filtered guitar that's only in the left ear is a bit bad, though. It really does not offset all the brass and woodwind that's all in the right ear.
You're saying that they didn't have great mixing at Apple Studios?
Given the Beatles' history, no. But this track in particular wasn't as bad in later tracks. Excuse me, but it was just that one guitar that was not quite up to snuff.
Is it too bad, honestly, in my listen through in terms of the actual mixing? I think by the 70s, most bands have figured out, stereo noise.
Yeah.
Or at least for the most part.
Most of the way.
No, but I think it starts with a pretty interesting... It kind of gives you, I guess, a smattering of what you're going to see throughout the album. Which, of course, is, some brass, some nice funky guitar, and a pretty theatrical vocal delivery by the main singer. We were just talking before we went live here. It was a very David Bowie-esque inflection going on.
I didn't get that quite as much personally, but then again, I haven't listened to as much David Bowie as you have.
That's true. It's not like one-to-one with you, but the way he very much the theatricality of it kind of has it, and I guess maybe part of that's maybe the UK influence, right?
Yeah.
The British artists in the 70s here, but certainly something you don't expect to be paired with a disco funk album.
No, I will say the vocal stylings on this one in particular I wasn't a big fan of, especially the big out of time chorus at the end, which was kind of odd. The instrumental line there kind of feels like it's dragging it along a bit, but overall it's a very good solid intro, especially killer ending. Really pound that last note.
Oh yeah, and I like the stacked vocals throughout are very nice, and especially the what do you call it? The brass as it goes through. Very consistent kind of joy in the song, I would say.
Yeah, overall a very strong start. Jump into track number 2 if you're ready, Coop.
Track number 2, The Street.
This one starts off with some nice funky synth in there, despite it being quite a slow song. I say starts off. It's a slow song, and then very early on you hear way off in the distance somebody really going at the keyboard.
This one's a lot more low key. I guess I'm not sure how to classify this song. It's definitely not disco, and there's definitely some funk elements, but maybe some light R&B elements to it. Which is kind of throughout this album. There'll be I guess maybe a more, traditional disco cut, and then these kind of slower, low-key cuts here.
Yeah, they're kind of. I mean, it is the second album, so they're not hard into fully committing to disco, which I don't think they ever really did, but definitely some of their roots sticking up in there. Nice, soft, quite a bit of gospel later on as well. it's this one. It's so dense. No, not really, but there's a lot of depth going on despite its simplicity. And the thing that really works well for it is it makes those big instrumental hits that come in hit a lot harder because most of the song is quite simple.
There's maybe not as much depth as or at least I disagree in it adding that much because the instrumentation is a little sparse. No, I think it just filled it in, semi nicely. But there's also pretty significant breaks in this song where it's just kind of the little bit of bongo in the background. And I do like the little strings that cut in and the little bit of jazz organ throughout. It doesn't feel like it necessarily always completely hits its stride, personally.
That's fair. I quite like it. I quite like the simplicity of it. Plus that Wurlitzer organ. Can't get enough of that.
Oh, is that the type of organ it is?
Yes. Well, it's the type of speaker, and it's also it might be a brand too. It was a defense contractor, and it's used. I at least use it to refer to that style of speaker. It's a speaker on I think it has an actual name. It's the rotating speaker. But Wurlitzers were often using them. What's that called? I've used it before. Leslie speaker. So it's got that spinny. It's the classical Wurlitzer sound. At least I always call it Wurlitzer because that's what I associate it with. But it's a speaker that spins, or rather, there's a spinning thing in front of the speaker, so you don't actually have to rotate the speakers, and it gives that warbly sound to it.
Yeah, I did not understand the history there. Well, thank you. And so it was a defense contractor?
Wurlitzer, I think, at least that's what it said. Let's see. The company initially imported stringed woodwind. That's not right. Wurlitzer enjoyed initial success largely due to defense contracts to provide musical instruments to the U.S. military. So it was a defense contractor,
but they made it a musical instrument. Okay, that's like a double twist.
Yeah.
Oh, they're a music company. Oh, they're a defense contractor. Oh, they're a defense contractor. That's a music company.
So
it reminds me of I was at a job fair once, and I was talking to a company, and I looked up that they did a organ repair, and I was like, oh wow, interesting. So like I thought they meant like in the biomedical sense of like that's like some sort of like medical internal organ. No, we mean like the instrument. I just had to turn around and walk away after that one. We go on then to track number 3.
Track number 3.
Call the police.
I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Starts with a pretty good bit of funk and then goes into this very sparse lyric instrumentation.
That intro drops to silence and then interpretive jazz before it gets to the full song.
Very, very much a tease. And then the song is mostly sparse throughout of it.
Yeah.
This dissonant bass, and there's like this brass that jumps in every now and then that kind of keeps the energy, but it's a very, very off-kilter song.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the vocal styling, or vocal delivery rather, on this one. The instrumentation is great as always, but the singing style just feels flat compared to the energy that the rest of the song is giving. I will say I do like the delivery of the people getting mugged at the chorus.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like the whole plot of the song.
Yeah.
If people are getting mugged, they need to call the police. Which is, not funny, but it's an interesting concept for a song.
Yeah.
Especially the concept of like a kind of a funky song.
But that's really all I had for that one. I wasn't the biggest fan, I'll be honest.
I mean, I can respect that it goes for an interesting kind of, song structure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure if it works. It actually works too well in its own execution.
Yeah, it's not the best. jumping to track number 4, if you're ready, Coop.
Track number 4, Dollar Sign, which may be the peak of the kind of David Bowie singing on the album.
Really, I this one felt quite gospel-y to me.
I wouldn't say it's the most gospel song of the album. That comes a little bit later.
Not the most, but I definitely got gospel vibes from it.
I think a lot of that comes down to that organ in the background.
Yeah, it is. So what makes this Bowie-like to you?
Not the song itself, but the actual vocal delivery of it.
Okay, I see.
Just kind of drawn out valves, his very theatrical vocal performance. Is kind of quirky vocal inflections.
Yeah, it is. It is quite quirky. The balance on this one's very good. I really like the mixing. It really draws focus to the instrumentals.
Yeah, I mean, it has like I guess there's like two parts of the song. There's like the very, very low key and sparse lyric section, and then the actual chorus kind of has a little bit more of a brass build up in it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of dissipates when it goes back into the lyrics.
And it's short, sticks around just as long as it needs to. It kind of plays out everything it has, and then it ends.
Yeah, I think this might be I think this is the shortest song in the album.
And I'd say it's the perfect length.
And I should say the original release album, because I was looking it up. Apparently, this didn't have a CD release until like 2009.
What?
Yeah, which is very late. And that release actually had like 5 additional songs, just like a deluxe edition. We're only reviewing the standard, release edition. But I looked it up. I'm like, wow, why'd it take that long to get a release from a, fairly, like you said, they're a pretty popular UK band.
Yeah, and I mean, it also has the next track 5 on it, which I would say is quite famous.
Oh yeah, we can go to track number 5, You Sexy Thing.
Which is what I've been listening to on repeat for too long.
Which is their most popular song by a significant margin.
What's the listens on Spotify look like?
I mean, it's actually very alarming. So You Sexy Thing has about a little over 300 million views, right? So a big song. And all the other songs on the album, besides the You Sexy Thing single versions, are all under 500,000.
Wow.
So magnitude's bigger.
Yeah, at least 20 of those You Sexy Thing listens are me, probably more.
Which it's interesting that it's such a big song because it's a pretty weird funk song.
Oh, but it's so good.
I like it. It's just from a purely like you just looking at the technical breakdown of it. It's got this weird ass vocal delivery with this very unique percussion delivery in the background that I don't dislike, but it's a very off kilter.
Yeah, they're almost like peaking bongos.
Yeah, I don't even know what instrument it is. It's like almost like pitched bongos or something.
And you've got that really soft Leslie warble on the guitar, and you've got the strings coming in. This one just has that certain je ne sais quoi that pushes it over the edge. Even if I didn't know this song beforehand, it's like, yeah, for some reason the it feels like the quality really steps up between the first 3-4 tracks and then this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear it's the single of the album. But yeah, even then, I have to kind of admit that I admire that it it sticks to its like weird guns, right? They didn't really stand off the edges for this single.
No, they did not. I will say, you were talking about the vocal delivery. I really dislike how he drops the S off of miracles, so it sounds like he's saying "I believe in miracle."
Honestly, I catch myself going, "I believe in miracles," just because the way he says it's so so funny.
I know Carmen, who was on last week, says she hates this song because of that, because of the delivery.
I mean, like I said, it's a weird ass vocal delivery, and of course it has that kind of pretty famous bass line, that dom 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 dom.
It's so good. It's such a good song. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a fun song.
It's fun. It's sexy.
I'm not sure I'd go so far as saying it's sexy.
It's titled "You Sexy Thing," Cooper.
Sam, the next time you are trying to be sexy, put the song on and see it kill the mood instantly.
I think you drastically understand my relationship, but to each their own.
I don't want to understand if that's the direction we're going.
But yeah, no, just it's a fun song. It's a very fun song. But we can jump to the next track if you're ready, Coop. Track number 6.
Track number 6, A Child's Prayer.
A wild swing of
yeah, energy,
energy,
and in subject matter.
This one is a gospel track that's even more gospel-y than $. Not the most gospel, but more gospel-y. And it also kind of vaguely hints that people are starving because they aren't praying. Did you catch that line?
No, I definitely got the message was, I definitely caught the message here. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's got a good instrumentation. I do actually really like the instrumentation on this one. Yeah, but I guess the world is bad because people don't go to church anymore.
Yeah, I was, not too sure about that one. I was like, really? That's the way you guys want to go with this one?
So, yeah, and it's also, obviously, following up the song You Sexy Thing is pretty funny, just in concept.
Yeah, it's it's a interesting follow-up. And it's not really got a whole lot going on either. I mean, the string works amazing, so there's got some nice depth to it, and then at the end is really takes off for me because they throw in the tubular bells.
Yeah, instrumentation on the song is actually pretty great.
But it starts getting really muddy at the end. I don't know what it is. It's like the microphones weren't properly picking up the instruments, but it all just kind of it gets really peaky.
Like Peaky Blinders?
Yep, that's exactly what I meant, Cooper.
Okay, good. Oh yeah, I don't have much to say else beyond that.
I do not either. Let's jump to the next track then, track number 7.
Track number 7, A Warm Smile. Which is another mellow one, but a little melancholic, a little, mellow. With this electronic recorder in the background. I'm not sure what to call it, but
yeah, I thought it was excuse me, I thought there was a little bit of tenor sax back there, but I could very easily be mistaken.
Yeah, that may be it, but I just couldn't identify it.
No.
But I actually really like this song. The vocal delivery is maybe a little more traditional for singing.
Mm-hmm.
But the song keeps its cool, and it kind of lets itself breathe. It's the longest song of the album, and I kind of like how it takes its time there.
Yeah, I personally thought it was a bit long for its own good. It's a nice song. The solo around the 2-minute mark really helps me get into the vibe of it.
That little mellow guitar that comes in. Yeah, I like that cut.
But just that last 2 minutes stretches out just a little too long for me. And it was just a bit too much.
I can understand that. For me, it works. I think it kind of needs that room to breathe, given kind of the slower pace of the song. But I can also see why you kind of be like, hey, why does it need to be this long?
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary.
But that's a nice warm smile.
Huh?
Jump to track number 8 if you're ready.
Yeah, track number 8, Amazing Skin Song. Which I guess is their take on racism.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. They are a multiracial funk group in the 80s, or in the 70s in the UK, so...
It focuses on one of them dating a white woman, and the kick drum is just going crazy in the left ear. That's my main takeaway.
This isn't it. I hadn't really thought about that, but it is kind of split across there.
It's really in there, really banging away.
I will say the chorus with kind of the yelpy vocal passages in the brass kind of win me over eventually.
See, they did the opposite for me. Like for me, it's very stripped back. I think it feels more so just because the drum beat is so simple. It's like one bar of drum looping, and the chorus is really yelly. I will admit it's catchy, but it's definitely a B-side.
Yeah, I understand why it's a B-side, but I think it's still a pretty fun song.
It's each their own. I'm not the biggest fan.
And how do you want to move on then to track number 9?
Yes, let's.
Yes, track number 9, Love's Coming On Strong. Actually, it's a pretty pleasant listen.
It is. I especially love the trumpets, which are fantastic. And then in the chorus, you have the trumpet line, and then it duets with the vibraphone, and then the strings come in on top of that. It is, beautiful.
It's a pretty nice brass line that kind of precedes the song. The sing's all right. It's got a little recorder. It kind of made me as I was listening through this the first time. It kind of made me realize just how I was kind of surprised at how low key this album is overall.
Yes, aside from You Sexy Thing.
Yeah, you think of like You Sexy Thing, you think disco, you think funk, right? High energy, but overall this album's actually fairly mellow.
Mm-hmm. It's quite calming. Nice soft funk, if you will.
Soft funk. Freeform jazz.
And this one as well, did you notice that it seemed like there was some kind of weird filter on the drums?
Yeah, the percussion was... I made a note of the percussion where it was both, like, noticeable, but, like, non-energetic.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It's, like, dampened.
It was kind of, like, warbly, too, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know who the drum guy was on this album, but he was doing some interesting things in the background.
It was...
And they have, like, 20 members in this
Patrick Olive, the one member that stuck through till the end.
Oh, well, there we go. I can't say he wasn't trying something new.
Yeah. Which I prefer that to looping one bar of drumline.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Jumping to track number 10 then, if you're ready, Cooper.
Yes, track number 10, Lay Me Down, Nice and Easy.
Which...
is the gospel song.
If you couldn't tell from the title, is a gospel song.
It's an interesting way to end the album, because obviously they... kind of played around with the gospel sound earlier in the album, but this one's like full on, like kind of got a folksy twang to it.
Yeah,
I like it honestly.
The title reminds me of that line from I Think You Should Leave from the late great Fred Willard when he's playing the organ.
What's he say?
This one's somber, so it's all right to cry. It's called He Layeth on High, and it's about a big baby duck who gets his head caught in a stewed tomato.
Starts playing that funny.
Yeah.
Every time he throws a plate down the ground and break it as a sound effect.
It was just the other night that I found out Fred Willard was dead. I didn't realize he had passed away.
Oh yeah, he died a couple of years back.
It was, yeah. Very sad. But that's what I think of.
Yeah, this album is this album takes you to different emotional places.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a pretty catchy chorus, right?
No 1-2 clap. It's just the good old clap on the beat.
The good old clap on the beat. Got some like nice acoustic guitar. Ends with like a acapella cut. Which sure.
Yeah. That choir is so gospel, and it's all on the left, and then the guitar's all on the right, and so up until about a minute from the end, they're only playing separately, and then they finally come together, and it's perfectly balanced. But it's like, okay, balance it to the section, not to the overall.
Yeah, maybe the mixing wasn't 100% the best on it, but it didn't really bother me too much, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's fair. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best.
No, I've definitely seen worse offenders.
Yes,
but
very true. But the vocal only segments are really nice, I will say.
Yeah, no, good vocals on this song.
But that's the album.
This is the last song on the album.
The original version.
The original released in 1975.
Yes, I didn't actually say when this one came out. It was in the 70s. Sometime in there.
That's the full album.
That's all she wrote. So Cooper, what would you say your least favorite track is?
Probably have to go with "Call the Police."
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some weird ones on this album, if I'm being honest. But that one just the sparseness of the instrumentation kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was like off kilter, but in a bad way. I just couldn't get behind it.
Okay.
What about yourself?
I think I would have to go with the Amazing Skin song.
Okay.
I just really was not a big fan. Especially of that kick drum. That was just a bit too much.
Well, then what was your favorite song?
I mean, it's You Sexy Thing. I feel like that's pretty obvious.
I actually have a different one.
Really? What is your favorite?
I really liked A Warm Smile.
Okay.
Obviously a different energy than You Sexy Thing.
Yes, quite different.
But I thought it leaned quite well into the mellow sounds, good use of strings, nice vocal delivery, and just a nice long cut on the album.
Interesting. Okay. A different take there. But we've decided which we like. What about we got to rate it now, Coop?
We do.
And you have to explain the rating system.
Of course. Well, as you know, me and Sam were actually lab grown. They are attempting to make the perfect human beings.
They really
and when that failed,
they really fucked up.
They actually left us in a scrapyard. They just dumped us off there, and that's where we found our first cars, right in that scrapyard. Took us years to find our way out of that spot. So they were basically parents to us. So of course we made our podcast car themed with at the tip. Our descriptions are getting more and more sick. So at the tip top, you have showroom, cream of the crop, the best of the best. And then all the way on the bottom of your rating system, scrapyard, the get away from me, bottom of the barrel, garbage. And then we have used rental, fixer upper, like new, and we'll give it like a high or low depending on our mood of the day. So Sam, what would you rate Hot Chocolate by Hot Chocolate?
I think I would rate it. Maybe I'm thinking a high fixer-upper. Quite a high fixer-upper. It's not fantastic. It's not horrible. It's kind of middle of the road. There's not really low lows. There's not really super high highs. It's very consistent. It's a good album. I think you should listen to it, but I'm not sure I can give it. At most, I could give it a very low like new. What about you, Coop? What are you thinking?
Basically, completely agree. I'm also a fixer-upper. I find it interesting we had completely different favorite and least favorite songs, but we kind of arrived at the same conclusion here, which I think kind of speaks to its maybe unevenness.
Middle of the roadness? No, uneven would push it more one way or the other.
No, I mean uneven in the fact that I don't know, it doesn't have like definitive strengths or definitive weaknesses.
I see. Okay.
Which I mean, it does. Not to say that it's not an interesting album.
I think it's interesting.
I think it's interesting, but it's interesting in kind of a kind of a novel way, not so much in like a this is an exceptional album listening experience. I mean, obviously, You Sexy Thing is a fun cut, and obviously, I appreciate some of the mellower songs on the album, but this isn't certainly something I find myself returning to, or will be returning to. But also, I didn't regret my time listening to it either. So, I think a pretty textbook fixer-upper here.
I would agree. Well, that's the album.
That's the album.
So let's roll on over then to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to this past week. And what have you been listening to, Cooper?
Well, I've been listening actually to quite a bit of Paul Desmond. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his.
I am not.
Work at all, but he's a jazz player, a saxophone player specifically. I've been listening through some of his back catalog, and I quite like his performances. In terms of just as you know, I like to listen to some music while I read, and Paul's been a very good friend of mine.
Like a crazy person, yes, I know.
Well, I think of all of them, you can listen to jazz while reading.
Depends. Depends heavily on the jazz.
I've been a big fan of his music that he done. It's not like older jazz. It's like from the 90s mostly. But especially his album Late Lament, I'd highly recommend, Sam. I've listened to this album like 4 times. It's great. It's fantastic.
I'll check it out then.
If you're just looking for some solid jazz. What about yourself?
I have been listening to a lot of Daft Punk. That's pretty much it.
You've been on anyone in particular?
Infinitely Repeating is pretty heavily played right now. I've also been listening. Hold on, let me add this to my listen to later playlist before I forget about it. There we go. And what was the other one? What's the other song I've been listening to on loop? Lovely Day. I've been listening to a lot of Lovely Day by Bill Withers. I tried to go through some of Withers' other stuff because he also does Just the Two of Us, Cooper, for reference. And I just couldn't. None of it is to the same quality that those two songs are. And it's another case where the top played song is Far and Away, I believe. Let's see. Let's go to his. Whoa, no, don't listen to it. Stop. Although actually his most played song is Ain't No Sunshine.
Oh, that's a great song.
Which personally I'm not the biggest fan of.
Really? Ah, I love that song.
But it's at 776 million. Lovely Days at 615, and then the next one down is Lean on Me at 293.
That's still a great song too.
Yeah, but it's quite a jump. And then below that is Grandma's Hands at 92.
Okay, that one I'm less familiar with.
Granted, it's popular at the moment, so it's not true listen counts, but yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Lovely Day because that has the, where he holds the high note for like, I think it's like 30 seconds. It's insane.
Oh, that is insane.
It's a very good song. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been listening to. Trying to catch up on some podcasts as well a little bit.
It's okay. Bill Withers and Daft Punk, the classic combo.
Yep. Well, I mean, Infinity Repeating is a very nice, soft, calm song that kind of goes well with the more upbeat, Lovely Day, you know?
Listening to their songs don't bring them back. I'm sorry.
Shut up. I keep trying. I'm like half a step away from listening to the Tron Legacy soundtrack all the way through again as well. Because damn, it's a good album.
It's a good album.
It's a really good album. They didn't have to go that hard for a movie.
Tron sequel.
But man, it is a very quality album. So, but that's all we got. If you've liked this for some reason, you can scroll down on the Twitch page. There's a picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the aviators on. That'll take you to YouTube, where almost all the past episodes are. If you're on YouTube and you want to listen to us live, you can click the link in the description. That'll take you to Twitch. It is usually every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Cooper, you going to be around next week?
Yeah, next week is what,
the beginning of February?
I should be around for next week.
I should be as well. I've got game day at Grandma's on Saturday, but Sunday's wide open.
Oh yeah, full contact football.
Yep. Well, last year was
Your grandma.
taping a knife to a RC car and popping balloons in the kitchen. So we'll see what this year holds.
Sounds like a fun time.
And then is the fascist hell site Twitter still up, Cooper? Has it finally been killed? Are we free?
It's still alive.
Damn.
And you can follow us at Audio Shop Pod, that's POD, on Twitter if you want to know what we're listening to and when we're listening to it.
Well, there we go. That's all we got. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See you.